I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm already on a killing spree this morning because there's another fly this morning. I thought I killed him, and then he went into hiding for 5 minutes, and then he came out like 30 seconds before we went on the air, and I was like, I'm going to kill that you-know-what.
And we're going to watch it. We're going to watch a murder take place. It's going to be awesome.
Got this ready. Look at this disgusting. Look at that. Look how much killing this thing has done. So much killing. You can tell I live on a ranch. A lot of killing. All right. Coming up on today's show, the Harris Walz team, these past few days, you in danger, girls. Because you guys are not doing well. JD Vance absolutely obliterates the media, and we are here for it. Gretch apologizes. Gretch. And then releases another cringe video, because of course she does. And black men aren't happy with Obama telling them what to do. All that and so much more. You guys can check us out on all of our socials, and please click subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. chicksontheright.com/links. I see you, fly. You're going to die. You're going to die today. I'm sorry. Also, listen, your privacy matters. Sorry, I'm so distracted by this fly. I'm bloodthirsty. Go to our sponsor, our awesome sponsor, Aurora, at aura.com/chicks. You can get a 14-day free trial and see if any of your data has been exposed. Mine was. I didn't think it was, but 4 places showed up for me. Also, my daughter, like at her school, her little school thing that they have, her social security number was compromised. You guys should really check this out. It could be you, it could be your kids. It happens. Aura.com/chicks. Get a 14-day trial. They're awesome.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yes.
Big fat announcement before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show. And that is, you guys remember last week, if you were watching our show last week, we played a clip from the Sean Ryan show where he was talking to some aerial people who told him that there was an entire C-17 that was packed with supplies to be sent to North Carolina, where Kamala went and had her picture taken, and like there was a big photo op. And then those guys told him that that C-17 never got the supplies to North Carolina. Sean Ryan released a video yesterday saying he found out that that was not true, that the plane was there was something wrong with it mechanically. And so it's true that it did not fly out that day, but it did fly out, or at least they got all those supplies to North Carolina. So he wanted to make sure that he corrected that record. And obviously, since we played that clip, I wanted to make sure that we corrected that record as well. So consider that record corrected.
There you go. Okay.
Because we like to not say untrue things. And so if that was untrue, then we want to unsay that, right?
Right.
Also, do you guys see what I am wearing? This is the new
Look at that
Thanksgiving design from inreallifecreations.etsy.com. It looks like it says, y'all, what does it say? It says hello fall, but it kind of looks like it says hello ball, which makes me giggle.
Which is great.
So this is the new Thanksgiving design. And you guys, there is also, apparently due to popular demand, there is also a jerks on the right design now.
Oh my God, I love it. I got to change my hair color in that. I'm not blonde anymore.
That's right. Well, the cartoon is.
I know. I wonder if she can change my hair color.
She might. She's very talented.
Or maybe I can just change my hair color back. I mean, it's doable.
So if you want a jerks on the right, and listen, it's not just shirts. She's got all kinds of products that have this design, these designs on them. So you can check all of that out at inreallifecreations.etsy.com. Super, super cute. And then also we have some folks to thank because we got some PayPals, Venmos. Alexandra on PayPal said, please keep my grandparents in your prayers. My grandfather is struggling with the feelings of being isolated while my grandma is battling with Alzheimer's. He says that even though she hasn't passed away, he feels like every day he's losing his everything and that he misses her while she gets the help she needs at the dementia ward. Hold your loved ones close because you are blessed to be in their presence every day.
God bless him.
Sweet. Let's see. We also have from Stacy Smith. She said, this was last Friday. She said, agreed. Those men in the Kamala ad have definitely never, ever been near a ranch before. I bet they've never been laid before either. Love you, chicks. Happy weekend.
Yeah, they've never been around women ever.
And then Jesse Call said, I know I'm late to the party, but happy 38th birthday to me today. Been following you chicks for 13 years.
My gosh.
You always help me start my day, keep me informed, and I always leaving your show feeling uplifted. And that is our goal for sure. So thank you so much for that.
You, Jesse.
And then just now, Adam Knoll said, happy Monday, chicks. I forgot when you do dad jokes. So here's one I found. What do you call a pile of cats? Pause. Look at Daisy. It says that in here. A meowton. Have a blessed Monday and take my money.
Oh my God. Everybody with the awkward pause. Look at Daisy.
I love that he told me to pause and look at Daisy. And then also Tammy Reese says, sitting at the pool on a cruise with my girlfriends in the middle of the Atlantic, have to listen daily. There are a ton of Trumpsters on board.
I love that. How awesome.
Gosh. And then over on Locals, it's Kat says, good morning, chicks. Please give a shout out to Daniel and Susan. After our couple's golf outing, dinner and drinks, politics came up. And Daniel asked us, do you ever listen to Chicks on the Right? I was like, are you kidding me? Every day. It was our, did we just become best friends moment? I had to share. Love you, ladies. Balls.
He's like, let's go do karate in the garage.
Woo! Love it. Cade Gonzalez Orr says, good morning. Finally can make you live. Due to working third shift, can't go a day without you ladies. A guy's best buds. Coffee's not the same without the jerks on the right.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
And Leah says, marking myself safe after a very loud and very scary rocket attack on my city a half an hour ago. My God, I don't know how she does it.
I know, right?
I really don't. It's just, I don't understand living that way. I just... Man,
no, we can't.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. Also, this is an actual headline by an actual person for an actual publication. It's a fellow by the name of Noah Berlatsky who wrote a whole article, the title of which is, my wife is bisexual and non-binary, and my daughter is transgender. My queer family helped me understand myself better and my masculinity.
I don't know. I'm looking at him and I don't think that is masculinity. He's understanding it poorly. Because that's my gosh. Because Noah, no, Noah, no.
And then also Mike Davis, who we've had on our show before, responded back to a Hillary tweet in the best way possible, because she had tweeted, if Republican leaders don't enjoy being called weird, creepy, and controlling, they could try not being weird, creepy, and controlling. And he said, you defended your 49-year-old husband sticking a cigar in his 22-year-old intern's vagina off the Oval Office. Sit this one out, Hillary.
Totally. She stayed with them. And now they live in separate bedrooms, probably separate houses. She stayed with them. And then he called all the other women that he diddled bimbo eruptions.
That's right.
Yeah, she definitely needs to sit this one out.
Absolutely true. Also, in addition to wearing this amazing new shirt with the amazing new design on it, I am also wearing my cozy earth legging, or joggers rather, and they are the softest material ever. So you guys, it's mid-October officially, like it's the 14th. That is middle October, which means Christmas is basically here.
Oh my God.
I mean, for you,
I put my tree up like next week, you guys. I'm not even kidding. Do you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
I know you're not kidding.
Being completely serious right now with all y'all.
I know you're not kidding at all.
Wait.
And it's, I think people are like, oh, it's mid-October, like we've got plenty of time. You really don't, because if you're thinking about gifts, especially for the very finicky, picky people people that you want to spend, a good amount of money on, Cozy Earth products should be your first stop, because the sheets, the bedding from Cozy Earth is extraordinary. It's that bamboo sheet. It's made from viscose from bamboo, and it's the softest, most temperature regulating, most luxurious bedding. It just makes you feel so cozy.
Right.
It's so cozy.
And the more you wash it, the better it gets. Yeah.
Every single wash, somehow it gets softer, and there's no pilling. The magic, man.
Amazing.
It is magic.
Yeah.
And they have 100-night guarantee for all their bedding. So if you get something, you sleep on it 100 nights, and for some reason you don't like it, which I cannot fathom. But if that happens, 100% money back guarantee, you can send it right back. That's amazing. Like sending your used sheets back, and they're like,
we love them. That company's awesome too. We love those people. They're great.
They really are. They are. And you can save 40% right now when you go to cozyearth.com/cozychicks and then use promo code cozychicks. So if you've got someone complicated to shop for, think about cozyearth.com
good discount
/cozychicks. All right, we have tons to get to, tons that we we cut out of the show because it was just going to be too long. And so we're just going to see how far we get and hope for the best. But it's going to be a long show today, so buckle in, everybody. First and foremost, this week, Trump has agreed to be in a Fox News town hall this Wednesday in Georgia, and it's a woman-centric show. It's going to be an audience entirely comprised of women, and the focus will be on issues impacting women ahead of the election. So this should be very, very interesting.
Okay. Is Kamala going?
No, don't be.
Because I saw clips over the weekend where she was making fun of him for not doing 60 Minutes. So where the hell is she during this town hall?
We're going to get to that. But this is a town hall, not a debate. So I doubt she'll do a town hall on Fox. There's just
but that's what I'm saying. So she's chicken shit for not doing this, especially if it's issues impacting women ahead of the election. She should be there. I've heard that she is, in fact, a woman. So maybe she should go.
I mean, the jury's out, but yeah, we can go with that. Also, if you have been longing for the day that Trump appears on the Joe Rogan show, it's sounding like that might happen, you guys.
Joe Rogan has to have you on.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure, I would.
I think Joe, besides us, Joe's.
I think I'm doing it. Actually.
Yeah. So you are going to do Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I am.
So when are you having Trump on?
I don't know.
Okay. The look.
I don't know. Maybe.
Looks like you got something.
Maybe.
Okay, good. That's good. I think that's.
Look, at a certain point in time, it's just like, it would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office?
I thought
it's happening. You guys.
Yeah, it's happening. I thought he was going to say, what is it actually like when you get shot in the head? I thought that's what he was going to say when he said that sentence, And
he doesn't have to ask that because Trump has told that story basically ad nauseum now.
I would too if I was shot in the head.
Yeah. Well, and Trump did a rally this weekend in Coachella. So the fact that he's even rallying in a state that, most people would say there's absolutely no way he can win is kind of amazing. And there was an audience member in the crowd who screamed out Willie Brown's name. And Trump's reaction was absolutely priceless.
When she was the DA of San Francisco, the things she did, she started that whole decline. With our victory, he says, Willie Brown. Who said that? Who's the guy? What? Stand up. This can only happen in California. I didn't say it. Remember that. He said it. He said it.
We were all thinking it.
We were totally all thinking it. I freaking love that.
Yep.
And then someone made a new version of a Van Halen song in Trump's honor. And here is a little piece of it.
Oh, might as well
Oh my God, it's so great. know that like Wolfgang, who is Eddie Van Halen's kid, he's a super lib. He and his mom, Valerie Bertinelli, they're going to be like, you can't use that song.
Well, that is legit parody. So that's changing it up, I think, in a way that makes it fair use.
Makes it fair use.
I feel like it.
They're still going to be so butthurt by that. They just hate every second of it, which I'm here for.
Totally. And speaking of butthurt, that's exactly what this woman who found out that Trump was going to be at Coachella said about liberals reacting to that.
So now I see why y'all panicking. I didn't even know. Do y'all know that Trump's at Coachella? Do y'all know what Coachella is? The fact that there is a Republican president at Coachella, California is fucking amazing. Oh, I know y'all Democrats are mad as hell because you know what? Coachella is very liberal. Very liberal. I can't believe it. What the hell? Coachella Trump 2024.
I love her.
But he's afraid to go on 60 Minutes. And she's like, I was on Color Daddy. I was on a sex podcast.
Doesn't that count as like a hard-hitting interview?
Right? Yeah.
Also, apparently there was maybe, possibly, kind of a third assassination attempt. There was a man arrested by the name of Vem or Vern. Is it Vern or Vem?
It's Vem, V-E-M, Vem.
He was arrested. He was taken into custody after he was stopped at a checkpoint near the rally, and he had apparently a loaded handgun. He had some fake VIP credentials. And so initially, law enforcement was looking at this as a third assassination attempt thwarted. But now there are reports that he's actually a Trump supporter and he had absolutely no intention of using the gun. I mean, it's a crazy story. I suspect we'll hear more about it. He has been released on like a $5,000 bond.
Right.
So I think there was a Three's Company level misunderstanding.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you because there's people who knew him are like, there's no way he was gonna go and try to shoot the president. He loved Trump. He was a huge Republican, and he just had some firearms in his car, and they were arresting him for. Yeah, I think this is a massive misunderstanding, or they're trying to pin something on him because of something that he may have been doing in the background, and they just don't like this guy.
Right. Exactly. So I suspect we'll find out more about that today, or at least this week. So there are odd things about the story, no question, but based on his history, he seems like a big fat Trump supporter. So it's just very, very odd. Also, the story about Aurora, Colorado and Tren de Aragua, of the Venezuelan gang taking over apartment buildings, that is still circulating out in the ether. And Jake Tapper had on a woman to talk about that. And he broaches the question by basically dismissing the idea, saying it's all fake information and the local authorities are saying it's not true. And so what does she have to say about that? And she kind of puts him in his place.
So the truth of the matter is that there are people in Aurora, Colorado who appear, we don't know actually their immigration status, but presumably if they're part of a Venezuelan gang, they're not here legally. But it is not that they're not taking, according to authorities there, they're not taking over complexes, they're not taking over the city. Why not just do a speech about the truth of the issue?
Well, look, hyperbole works in campaigns, but here when we're talking about the immigration problems in this country, you don't even need that much hyperbole. We have a massive problem that was completely ignored for 3.5 years by the Biden-Harris administration. And when they did ultimately decide to take action, they took action that was executive authority, the exact executive authority that they denied they had any authority to use for the first 3 years. So there is a need right now to remind the American people that the newly revealed rhetoric of the vice president and how she's going to be tough on the border and tough on immigration is completely contradicted by her record on this issue.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, me too. Who's this chick? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Speaker McCarthy's apparently former chief something or other. And did you see how she spelled her name? It was Michaela, but it was like spelled in this really bizarre.
I didn't.
It was like Macalagh.
Like there's a lot of consonants in there. She needs to buy a couple vowels. Yeah.
So the reason that we played that clip is because we also have to play JD Vance getting asked about that very same issue by Martha Raddatz, and he absolutely destroys her in the most delicious way ever, which you are about to see as soon as I get done telling you about Bulwark. Because if you have not gotten your free common sense investing guide from our friend and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham from Bulwark Capital Management, what are you even doing? This is free. It's free. Everybody needs help investing. And when you get information that is free from a financial advisor, why would you not? Why would you not? Like, why would you not take that free information? You can do it. You can get it just by calling 866-779-RISK, or you can go to knowyourriskradio.com. That's the easiest way to get it. Knowyourriskradio.com. You can also schedule a personalized sit down chitty chat with him where he can review how you're currently invested, talk to you about what he might do differently. There's absolutely no obligation. It's a free consultation. So Zach is all about giving you information for free, and then it's up to you what you do with it. So again, call 866-779-RISK or visit knowyourriskradio.com. This was a moment. This is why JD Vance is the best pick ever.
Incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
I mean, how many, violent Venezuelan gangs taking over her rich gated community is too many? How many?
I mean, if it's just there's one, and
is that okay with her? Yeah. This is
I love that he was like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah, it's just these people are just insufferable because it's like it's happening there. It's fine. I mean, one little gang, I don't know what their problem is. It's like they're just a riffraff, but I live in a gated community and I'm rich, so I don't have to deal with this. So, I mean, but the riffraff, they can deal with violent gangs. I don't see what the problem is.
Few buildings. What's the big deal?
I mean, it's just some apartment complexes. I don't live in an apartment. I mean, I live in this ritzy neighborhood. But the apartment people, they can handle the violent gangs. I don't see what the problem is.
It's so perfect. This is why Kurt Schlichter retweeted this from Rob Henderson, because it's so true with every single issue. Step one, it's not happening.
Right.
Step two, okay, it's happening, but it's not that big of a deal. That's where we are on this issue. But just wait, because step three is it's a good thing, actually.
Yeah.
And step four is people freaking out about it are the real problem.
Right. Step three will be, listen, the violent Venezuelan gangs are adding to the diversity.
Right. And they're probably paying taxes that we just don't know about.
Totally.
So it's fine.
They're helping our job markets. They're creating jobs, you guys. God, these people.
I know. It's just hilarious. So there was another moment between Martha and JD Vance where all the mainstream media outlets are doing this. They keep pestering him about whether or not Biden won the 2020 election and if he'll admit that Trump lost. And so he will not, he just has no patience for these reporters, nor should he. And he answers them in a way that just makes them look like the absolute idiots that they are. Here it is.
In interview after interview, question after question, and in the debate, you refuse to say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. So I'm just going to assume that if I ask you 50 times whether he lost the election, you would not acknowledge that he did.
God, I hate her.
Is that correct?
Martha, you asked this question. I've been asked this question 10 times in the past couple of weeks. Of course, Donald Trump and I believe there were problems in 2020. You haven't asked about inflation.
No, I'm sorry. Let's stick to this. I know.
The American people want us to talk about how to make their lives better. They don't want us to.
Why won't you say that?
Because, Martha, I believe that in 2020, when big tech firms were censoring American citizens, that created very serious problems. And by the way, Martha, you're a journalist. You represent the American media. Look at the polling on this. A lot of Americans feel like they were silenced in the run-up to the 2020 election. That is such a bigger issue. That fundamental problem than me and Donald Trump talking about it. And unfortunately,
Martha, I don't understand why you won't just say it if you believe it.
God, you're annoying.
Won't just say what? That I think the 2020 election had some problems? I've said that repeatedly.
Did Donald Trump lose? That's the question, and you know that's the question.
Martha, I've said repeatedly, I think the 2020 election had problems. You want to say rigged? You want to say he won? Use whatever vocabulary term you want. I want to focus on the fact that we had big technology firms censoring our fellow citizens in a way that violated our fundamental rights. The fact that you're so obsessed with what word I use to describe this phenomenon rather than the phenomenon itself suggests something very broken in the American media. If we want to restore trust in American elections and democracy, which I want to do, Martha, we have to talk openly about what happened in 2020. And most importantly, we've got to talk about what happened afterwards. Okay. Americans being unable to afford the basic necessities of middle-class life because Kamala Harris is in the White House.
And broken in her. She's broken. And so many of these people are broken. He owned her in that.
I know. It was
because
glorious.
He answered the question. He answered it repeatedly. He just didn't give her the answer that she wanted.
Right.
And that's what's happening with so many of these people that have such severe TDS that has decayed their brains that they're mentally incompetent at this point.
God, I love that so much. I just loved it.
I know he's awesome. But could you see?
Fantastic.
I mean, all of us are frustrated by it because he's so right. Like we want to be talking about actual issues and policies that matter, and they just won't stop. It's like
and why is who cares other than them?
Nobody
about using that specific language to describe what happened in 20. No one is thinking about 2020 anymore. No one.
Nobody. And they will. It's like. It's like a jilted lover, you know. It's okay. Move on, you know.
Right.
Just shut up and move. Nobody cares. You are mental, and everybody can see it. And man, he owned her in that interview. I mean, she just looks batshit.
Yeah. And he also owned another interviewer by the name of Lulu somebody or other. She's this absolutely insufferable woman from the New York Times. And of course, he sits down with everybody, and he sat down with her, and she pestered him about the same exact thing. This one runs a little bit longer because it's just too good to cut. And so just buckle in for some more JD awesomeness.
We're asked to clarify if you believe Trump lost the 2020 election. Do you believe he lost the 2020 election?
Oh my God.
I think that Donald Trump and I have both raised a number of issues with the 2020 election, but we're focused on the future. I think there's an obsession here with focusing on 2020. I'm much more worried about what happened after 2020, which is a wide open border, groceries that are unaffordable. And look,
Senator,
Lulu,
yes or no?
Okay.
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator
I think that's
Vance,
the question.
I'm going to ask you again.
I hate
Did Donald
her.
Trump lose
Oh my
the
God.
2020
And I've answered
election?
your question with another question. You answer my question and I'll answer yours.
I have asked this question repeatedly. It is something that is very important for the American people to know.
No, it's not.
isn't.
There is no
Not
proof,
important.
legal or otherwise, that Donald Trump did not lose the 2020
But
election.
You're repeating a slogan rather than engaging with what I'm saying, which is that when our own technology firms engage in industrial scale censorship, by the way, backed up by the federal government in a way that independent studies suggest affect the votes, I'm worried about Americans who feel like there were problems in 2020. I'm not worried about this slogan that people throw. Well, every court case went this way. I'm talking about something very discreet. a problem of censorship in this country that I do think affected things in 2020, and more importantly, that led to Kamala Harris's governance, which has screwed this country up in a big way.
Senator, would you have certified the election in 2020? Yes or no?
I've said that I would have voted against certification because of the concern that I just raised. I think that when you have technology companies—
The answer is no.
When you have technology
Oh my
companies censoring Americans at a mass
Oh my
scale
God.
in a way that, again, independent studies have suggested affect the vote, I think that it's right to protest against that, to criticize that, and that's a totally reasonable thing.
So the answer is no. And the last question, will you support the election results this time and commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, first of all, of course, we commit to a peaceful transfer of power. We are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I, of course, believe that peaceful transfer of power is going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. But if there are problems, of course, in the same way that Democrats protested in 2004 and Donald Trump raised issues in 2020, we're going to make sure that this election counts, that every legal ballot is counted. We've filed almost 100 lawsuits at the RNC to try to ensure that every legal ballot has counted. I think you would maybe criticize that. We see that as an important effort to ensure election integrity, but certainly we're going to respect the results in 2024, and I feel very confident they're going to make Donald Trump the next president.
God, he showed remarkable restraint there.
Right? It's amazing.
It really is. It makes me like him even more because what a total biatch that chick was. I just seriously, I would not be able to sit there and listen to that garbage.
I know. I mean, it's incredible. And the only thing that he didn't do in that particular interview that he did with Martha was repeat her name over and over again, which I love the way he does that. Like Martha, like he just says it. And it just is like a way of just very delicately putting someone in their place. You know what I mean?
I think he was more angry in this one. I think he was trying not to be like, you are psychotic. You know, he was like this close to just being like, I got to get up and walk out of here because you are psycho. Like you've lost your damn mind. These people are out of control, y'all.
Oh my God. And they keep harping on shit that nobody cares about anymore.
Nobody cares. Yeah. When she's like, the Americans want to know. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We can't afford groceries and gas, lady. I'm sorry that you live in an alternate universe.
I know.
Wow.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. You guys, have you tried this magical way of making sure to get your daily allowance of fruits and veggies? Because I know you're not eating your fruits and veggies. I know.
I'm not. I'm totally not.
I know you're not.
I know I'm
and
not.
I know I'm not because it's hard. It's hard to eat that much, you guys. It's hard to eat that much fruits and veggies when there are donuts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
So
yes.
This is the way you cheat. And you can actually do it while eating donuts. And I'm not saying that this is something that Field of Greens would recommend.
You can wash them down. You can wash down your donuts with some. It's pro tip.
It's just, you don't have to, because this stuff is delicious on its own. So this is a green powder that you mix up in water. You can mix it up in a smoothie. You can mix it up however you want to mix it up. It's delicious, which is the most important thing. I mean, then on top of that, this Field of Green, this is the wild berry version. It's got a doctor guarantee, essentially, that if you don't see better results on your next doctor visits, you're going to get your money back. That's how much they believe in this product, and they should. So it's delicious. It's super healthy. It makes you better. It makes you healthier to actually take it. And it's just a super easy cheat way to get your fruits and veggies. So if you would like to try it, you should. You can get 15% off your order when you use code CHICKS at fogchicks.com. That's fogchicks.com. You will also get free shipping when you use code CHICKS. Try it, subscribe. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. I do. I drink it every day. All right. One more clip from that same New York Times interview. She, of course, asked him about the childless cat ladies thing.
Because you know she's a childless cat lady.
You know.
Oh my God. That chick has like 8 cats at home. You know she does. You know it.
So I cut this down because it is a very long clip, but essentially he talks about how he believes that our culture as a whole, our society as a whole, has really downgraded the importance of the family. And he's not wrong about it. And so he started to give an example about how even with the topic of climate change, there are total psychos out there who suggest people shouldn't have families because of the threat of climate change. And he thinks that is batshit, and I agree. And here is what he said about it.
You know, when I've used this word sociopathic, like that, I think is a very deranged idea. The idea that you shouldn't have a family because of concerns over climate change doesn't mean you can't worry about climate change, but in the focus on childless cat ladies, we
So are you
missed, I
saying
think,
that
the
women,
substance that we
women
missed,
who don't
we
want to
missed
have
the
children?
substance of what I said.
Sorry, I just want to clarify something. So women who don't have children because they're worried about climate change, that's sociopathic?
I think that is a bizarre way of thinking about the future. Not to have kids because of concerns over climate change. I think the more bizarre thing is our leadership who encourages young women and frankly young men to think about it that way. I mean, bringing life into the world has totally transformed the way that I think about myself, the way that I think about my wife, the way that I think, I mean, you watch your grandparents interact with grandchildren. It is like a transformatively positive and good thing for there to be children in the world. And if your political philosophy is saying, don't do that because of concerns over climate change, yeah, I think that's a really, really crazy way to think about the world.
Take that, Lulu.
Yeah. I mean, if you like, but the weather, we shouldn't have kids because of the weather. Yeah, you're psychotic.
Honestly, the people that think that should just not have kids because they're psychotic.
Yeah, you're right, Mock. You're
so
totally
it kind of
right.
works itself out, really.
It does.
Last week, towards the end of the week, probably Friday, I think, we played a couple of clips, if I remember correctly, from Tim Walz's interview with Michael Strahan from, I guess it's Good Morning America. More clips came out over the weekend, and they did not help Tim Walz at all. So the first couple you're going to hear about, remember the line that Kamala said on The View where they were like, what would you do differently from Joe Biden? She was like,
Nothing.
I can't think of a thing.
Can't think of anything. Nothing.
So now they're asking Tim Walz to help her out with that. He's not good at it.
Vice President Harris was asked this week on The View if she would have done anything differently than President Biden that he has done in the past 4 years. And she said, quote, there is not a thing that comes to mind. And she later said she would have a Republican in her cabinet. Yeah. And when it comes to President Biden and the presidency, would you see anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, and look, as a governor, I was asked to be governor of this state when Donald Trump was president and when Joe Biden was there. And I watched Donald Trump dismiss the COVID pandemic. I watched him drive an economy into the ground. And I watched Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pick those pieces up. And I think for all of us, we make decisions, we reanalyze afterwards. I think the thing that drew me to this ticket, and I think what the vice president's talking about, is that her values on these hasn't changed. They have been working for the middle class. They've been doing all they can to make sure prices come down. They're protecting reproductive care.
So it makes me want to ask you, do you think that Biden's done everything right?
Well, look, I don't know if any of us do everything right, but I can tell you he's done everything in the best interest of the American public.
Yeah. You encourage people to tell on their neighbors during COVID, you commie. Yeah. Trump just like completely discounted the COVID pandemic. Okay. He did
he
pressers.
get vaccinated? Because you can thank Donald Trump for that. Tim
Right.
Walz.
And he did pressers every single day. I mean, our entire focus during that time was on COVID. Don't you guys remember that? I was like, God, enough with the COVID. Like, can we just live our lives? That would be great. Yeah, I feel like he focused on it.
He also addressed the whole knucklehead thing, because this is, of course, his excuse that he gives now whenever he's caught in a lie. He says, oh, I'm just a knucklehead with bad grammar or whatever. And apparently now Kamala, and Michael Strahan asks him about this, Kamala even said to him, you're going to need to be more careful with how you say things. Like, she admonished Tim Walz, apparently, and he owns up to that. So I'm just going to let these few clips just run together, because it's all about him being a knucklehead, Americans being able to trust him, and Kamala giving him a slap on the wrist.
Your record. And you call yourself a knucklehead. Call yourself a knucklehead because you've made some statements that just aren't true. And the comment about weapons of war that I carried in war, which you didn't. You said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square massacre when you weren't. You kind of chalked it all up to bad grammar. or getting the dates wrong.
Yeah.
But your opponents say you lied to make yourself look better. Do they have a point?
Well, look, 35 years ago, got the opportunity to be in Hong Kong, be in China, learned a lot about it, served 24 years in the National Guard, passionately, in an instance, talking about gun violence in schools, on an instance there, proud of the service that I've done, proud to be a teacher in that classroom, proud to have been very public all these years, and owning it when I, said, look, I was there in August of '89. And I think what you see here, you saw it in Minnesota, been elected 8 times here. These things have been very public for folks here. They see the results of things that we pass. We see a state that's a top 5 state for business. We see 3rd best state, top 3 state for raising a child, and we've got the best health care. And I think the policies, whether it be dealing with China and understanding China's human rights record, what you can be certain there is that Kamala Harris and I aren't going to, pick dictators on speed dial. See, Xi Jinping is doing a good job during COVID, as Donald Trump said. And I think those lessons learned over a lifetime of being very public, whether it's in the classroom or being elected.
He didn't answer the question.
But it's one of the things with trust. So there are going to be some people who say, we can't trust him even tell the truth about himself.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you say to them?
Well, I said they know who I am. I know who I am. I know the work that I've done. I know that things get spun in a political environment. But I think what they see is, if they want to compare that, talking about immigration policy or seeing the things that Donald Trump would say, I think there's a big difference than missing a date when you're there. And again, spinning something for a political reason. I'm very clear of who I've been. I'm very proud of 24 years of doing that work. And I think going to Congress and working for veterans, they want to see it and make the difference, look a little different. I think people in Minnesota, my students, the folks I've worked with, members of Congress, they know who I am. And they know the policies we put in place have made an impact.
He never explains the lies, ever.
And then he keeps saying, I own them. Like I own when I make a mistake. He absolutely, you can see right there that he doesn't.
He never does. He just dances all around it. He never explains the lies. Ever.
Oh,
he just lies.
God.
He lies and he gets away with it. And these people who are questioning him, let him get away with it every single time. It drives me. It's just crazy, you guys. I can't believe this guy is running for vice president. It's like Kamala said, let me see if I can find somebody dumber than me. You know? And she did.
And you're it.
Remarkably. She did. She found somebody dumber.
It is incredible. And, because Strahan's questions were good. The first one was good. The second one was good.
Right.
But what he doesn't do then is say, come on, you're not really owning it. You're saying people know who I am. I know who I am. I'm proud of my record.
They don't.
You're not owning it. Why won't he say that?
Yeah, because these people are not journalists and they suck.
Oh,
they don't do that. None of them do their jobs.
So here's the part about how Kamala asked him to start speaking better, essentially. And it's very interesting. You'll hear him change up the pronouns a little bit because, again, he cannot accept responsibility for his own mistakes and his own lies. So what he says is, she told me I need to be a little more careful. So you do need to be more careful. You do need to watch the way that you say things. No, Tim, you do. You don't get to say you need to be saying, I need to be more careful. That's the whole freaking point. But it's a very interesting switcheroo that he pulls here.
And Vice President Harris said that she told you to be a little bit more careful on how you say things.
Well, I did it, even the other day of just speaking passionately about these gun violence situations and meeting with these survivors. I've sat in the room with the Sandy Hook folks, a friend with David Hogg, who's been an activist on this. People know in that, and then that gets spun in that, he didn't say something true. It was very clear that I was talking about these veterans, very clear that I wear,
Not clear.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I do think in these positions, whether it be governor or being vice president of the United States, you do need to be careful. You do need to be a little more thoughtful on it. And I think what you see is, as someone who's been in classrooms a lot, I've been around coaching a lot, I speak passionately, and I think doing that, you need to combine the two, and I think that's what she's referring to.
God, he creeps me out.
Oh my God, just own it.
He won't. He'll never own it. He's really good at this, though. He's good at like talking in circles. He has the politicians speak down. He's gotten very, very good at it. That's one thing that the practicing and being in these circles has done. And I guess being governor has done that for him. He's gotten by. They skate, man. They're able to skate and they get in these positions and they're never held accountable. And then they just make lots of money off of us.
Yeah. And then he just gets to position himself as, oh, hoity do, I'm
folksy.
just a regular dude. I'm
I'm a knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead. And I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I'm just so passionate.
Right.
Give me a break.
Actually, you're really freaking creepy, is what you are.
He was on a whole different news program, also asked about this flub of Kamala's on The View, where she said that she wouldn't do anything different than Joe. Here is this answer.
How specifically do you turn the page? That's the case you're making about turning the page on an administration that A, Vice President Harris is a part of, and that B, as recently as this week, she has been reluctant to criticize or say she would change anything about.
Yeah, well, I think keeping in mind the big difference here, and the choice is going to be the difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
There's no covering. There's no covering for it.
Nope.
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 And then do you guys remember that clip that went around probably like a month ago of him saying one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness?
Yep. Oh, very well. Yep.
So he was on with Shannon Bream and she asked him about that. And once again, his face, like he always just looks like a deer in the headlights when he's asked.
He's like, oh, I said that? What? I said it?
Well,
What?
here's what I meant. There's
Covered in what?
What? So here he is dancing around this answer.
You said weeks ago.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Okay, so Merriam-Webster Dictionary on Socialism says it's a system of society or group living in which there's no private property, or this condition of society in which the means of production are owned and controlled by the state.
Okay, here we go.
Did you mean to advocate for that here in the U.S.?
No. Shannon, look, I'm a capitalist. I was making the point of is Republicans oftentimes talk about socialism. And what I would make the case of is we build our roads collectively together. I don't think anybody's arguing that you should have to build your own road from your house to your business place or whatever. So
A few moments ago, Minnesota Governor.
Okay, he's full of crap, this
He's
guy.
so full of crap.
And I loved how she played the role of the teacher in that instance, to a teacher. She was like, let me
just give you the definition.
Let me go ahead and show you what socialism is, Mr. Teacher Coach, since you don't seem to know, you dumbass. Good Lord.
Oh my God. So good. And then there was the pheasant hunt.
Oh my God, you
There's
guys.
just so much to make fun of about this pathetic photo op. So again, he wants to be a regular hunty dude. He wants to be like, I'm just a regular guy that does all the manly things. And MSNBC, of course, wants to promote it. Listen to the breathlessness and the excitement with which they use to describe Tim's pheasant hunt.
Walz was out pheasant hunting in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, taking part in the 12th annual Governor's Pheasant Hunting Opener. This comes, friends, as we know that they're going to have Walz doing sort of a blitz, reaching out to men, young men, voters they know, 50-50 swing vote. They know they need to get him.
Yes. Can I just say, Hope Walz is giving a pheasant hunting glam this morning, okay? That is the governor's daughter that you see her in the back. Look at this. She's making pheasant hunting. Fetch is happening. She's making fetch happen.
What? Everybody's like, he looks like Elmer Fudd, and he does look like Elmer Fudd.
Oh my God, he so does.
It's so bad. All of this was so bad. He didn't know how to handle the gun. It's all bad.
Just wait, because I have all the clips, because there's so much to make fun of. So first, there was like, in that first one that you just saw, he wasn't even holding a gun. So then there was people all over the internet were freaking out going, did he take a gun with him for this hunt? Or was he just like there to like strangle the pheasants? What's happening? So then they hand him the gun, right? And so then there's this moment where he's just photo opping. They're like having him pose.
Look at me in my vest. Look at me hold my gun. Look at me.
And then the way that he talks about drinking a Mountain Dew,
it's a diet. It's a diet Mountain Dew, Mom.
I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but just listen.
And I'm going to grab a Diet Mountain Dew if we got one. I'm going to pound one down.
He's gonna pound one down, you guys. He's gonna pound it. Cannot.
He's gonna pound
He's
that
gonna pound
down.
it. Mm-hmm. My God.
Oh my God. And then there was the actual gun. So he was asked about his gun and he knows what it is, doesn't know how to load it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's my theory, and it never fits quite right.
Doesn't ever fit quite right.
It's not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much.
And he may have broken his own law.
Oh my gosh, the greatest.
Apparently, even in Minnesota, hunters are required to use a plug to limit them to 2 shells in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, and violations include a fine. He appears to have forgotten said plug.
Rules for thee, but not for me. Right.
And then, of course, the memes started in earnest, including this one.
Dipshit.
This is a Beretta A400.
The big tampon. I can't. Yes.
Because it has a
yes.
Oh my God.
That is
so
the
great.
greatest tampon ever. No, that tampon won't, Tim. It won't. It won't hurt your shoulder.
And if you ever want to know about a person, see what happens when they get around a dog that is a stranger. So they try to hand one of these precious German short-haired pointers, which is the dog that I want next. They hand one of the hunting dogs to Tim Walz. Watch the tail. This dog hates him. Get me away from this creek.
Yeah, but you don't pick up hunting dogs. No, you're not supposed to squeeze them and pick them up like that. Like, who picks up a hunting dog? What dude does that? Mock would do that.
I mean,
Mock would pick up the hunting dog and squeeze it, and he'd be like, "Oh, yay, it's a lady that loves me, and she's trying to squeeze the crap out of me." But dudes don't do that.
Not supposed to.
That to me, I think, was the oddest thing I saw all weekend.
Yeah.
I've never, that was,
dogs know. They know.
I've just never seen a dude do that ever. It's really bizarre.
And here's some very interesting news. Now, of course, this is all allegations at this point, and we're going to stick to that until we know otherwise. But there is apparently a foreign exchange student who has been on a podcast to say that Tim Walz groomed him, touched him inappropriately, tried to convince him he was gay, molested him. And now I'm hearing as of this morning that this fellow is ready to come out publicly, like name himself. So far, there was a podcast that had him on the show, like without using his name, to tell his story. And you guys, it sounds kind of compelling.
Sounds legit.
So if he comes out with his name and a face, that will be an October surprise, right?
Yeah.
But here's a clip of him on the Red Pill 78 show. And you don't see him, you just hear his voice.
Tell me about your first encounter with Coach Tim Walz.
He would tell me like your secrets, you can trust me, and I will tell you my secrets, we can trust each other again. And he would go with those like strange movements up to leg, back to my back again, touching my butt. Or he made it very clear that nobody is going to believe me and I will be deported because of the wrong accusing of a teacher. I had a feeling for a long period of time that I cannot trust anyone because something bad can happen. I want them to know that they should talk about it and do something.
God bless
and
him.
never keep it inside.
I mean, and then I think it's is it Black Insurrectionist on Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's like a whole account that is written up where he said he claims that Tim Walz took him to a bar one night, brought him back home, Gwen was at the house. I mean, this is what he claims. He's alleged he's done this, and she knew about it. And like they had sexual contact like several times. It's pretty compelling stuff.
Yeah. That particular account has been less than reliable on some things. So you can obviously go read it and make of it what you will. But this story with this foreign exchange student seems much more certain. You know what I mean?
It does seem believable. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I suspect that we'll be hearing a lot more about that.
Yeah. I hope that kid's protected. I say kid because I think he was a kid when it happened. I don't know. He must be, obviously he's older now, but
yeah,
Yikes.
Yeah. Let's take a break for some thank yous. Anita Canty says, I was promoted to grandma last Thursday, courtesy of my son and his beautiful wife. Welcome to the world, Adam Thomas. Love it.
So great.
Audrey Krause says, JD Vance can handle the media in such a calm way. He is unflappable. Vance 2028. Genius the First said, heading from Indy to Destin with my son and listening to you on the ride down. Good to have my chicks in my ear.
Yay.
Safe travels. And Osuki says, Walz and his rifle reminds me of Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out. Totally. Kim Poole says, praising God today. Mom is home from rehab after a stroke. She will need help for a while, but I still have her. Love the chicks. Oh my gosh, that is great news. She's home. Curio23 says, simple retort is to ask, show me the state laws that were changed by the, I'm going to need some help. Show me the state laws
that were changed by the legislators and signed into law by the governors, not by some bureaucrat.
Okay. I don't know what that's referring to.
I'm not sure either.
But thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Judy Flackney says Vance should start asking if they're reporters or history teachers. And he was referring to specific cat ladies, not all of you. There's probably cat ladies in here who are mad. Don't be mad.
I'm sure.
Not you.
Don't be mad at us. Yeah.
Rachel Gerhart says Tampon Tim loading his gun explains why they needed IVF in order to have kids. She says not manly at all. Are there any real masculine men that are libs? Take my money.
No, I really don't think so. If there are men, like, what is it? Men for Kamala? They're not.
God.
Not real men.
Andrew Huff says, Tim Walz, so you were in Hong Kong, China in 1989 during the Tiananmen Square. You were in British colony of Hong Kong, which was democratic at that time. Hong Kong was not handed back to China until July 1st, 1997. Yeah, I mean, he's a big, fat liar.
He totally lied.
Big fat liar. All right. We need to, last week we showed you that ridiculous, insane TikTok or whatever video that Gretchen Walz released with some podcaster where they were essentially mocking communion, Catholic communion with a Dorito chip and Gretchen wearing a Harris Walz hat. She has now had to come out and apologize for that. And she released a statement saying, quote, over 25 years in public service, I would never do something to denigrate someone's faith. I've used my platform to stand up for people's right to hold and practice their personal religious beliefs. My team has spoken to the Michigan Catholic Conference. What was supposed to be a video about the importance of the CHIPS Act, Michigan jobs, has been construed as something it was never intended to be. And I apologize for that.
Wait, y'all didn't get that? Y'all didn't get that this wasn't about the CHIPS Act? Come on. How did you not get that? What's wrong with you? How could you not get that?
Oh my God. Can you even with her?
Yeah, I can't. That is just the most ridiculous non-apology ever. Everybody knows. She was mocking Catholicism. Everybody knows it. That's what you were doing. That's what you were doing. You can't backpedal. That's the dumbest apology ever. I cannot stand this woman.
I know. And then she released yet another cringe video. I'm not playing the whole thing because it's too long and too cringe, but you'll see a couple pieces of her visiting her old sorority. Nauseating.
She was a Kappa Alpha Theta.
Hi, how are you? I'm Isabella. Hi, everybody. How are you? Good. How's school going? So sorry. I don't live in this room. Sorry we're interrupting you. Continue with your studies. One part of my biography very few people realize is that my first actual elective office was president of this house when I was young. Maybe I'm the voice that plants the seed in one of you that you never thought, okay, I'll be an office holder, I'll put myself out there. It's hard, it's wild, it's, you know, it's so rewarding. I've loved it, and I would say that all started here. Oh, here it is. Here's my freshman class, 1903.
Yeah, that's Michigan State. I think that's where that was. Yeah, I think they're scrambling to get the young vote because they're struggling because a lot of young people understand that this current administration sucks. And so they're like, what are we going to do? And so they're doing the cringe things like going to sorority houses and saying, you really need to vote for us. You need to vote for Democrats because they don't have it in the bag anymore, you guys.
It's so every time she releases one of these videos, I'm just like,
I mean, listen, you got to know that like there's a good percentage of those girls in that room that are probably like, I'm not voting for you. Casserole lady, I'm not voting for you. I'm not voting for your team. It's not going to happen because you know that they have parents who are telling them too. Everything sucks because of this current administration. If they're not smart enough to figure it out themselves, they have parents who are smart enough who are telling them those things.
Exactly. Greg Gutfeld had some good things to say in light of that horrific communion. And I don't care what she says about the CHIPS Act. She was mocking communion. There's no question about it. And he laid into Catholics that vote Democrat.
And you are upset about Donald Trump's character, and yet you are okay with voting for a person who wants abortion on demand. You're worse. I'm sorry, you're worse. And I'm not making, I'm just saying from when you analyze the beliefs of a Catholic being pro-life, you have no stance at all. If you are okay with abortion, you can't say, oh, Trump has a lousy character. No, you got no character. You have none.
He's absolutely right. I know I put that on our Instagram this weekend. And I believe there are so many Catholic people that I know that I like went to high school and college with that will vote Democrat. And I'm just like, well, I agree with him. They have no character. They have no moral compass. If they believe that Kamala and the Dems are the right people to drive this country into the ground, you know, and they think that abortion on demand is okay, they're not. They suck.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. It's like Jews voting for Dems. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
It's the most masochistic thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just realized that I did not play the latest Gwen Walz clip. You guys,
you got to do that.
We have shown her singing at people, at adult audiences. We've shown her leading them in these ridiculous chants. If you thought that she had condescended to the level of condescension that had reached a peak, she had not reached it until this weekend. This is the latest.
Hey, Kamala HQ. I'm Gwen Walz, and I have been an educator for a really long time, and I'm here with an assignment for you today.
Oh my God.
It's due on November 5th. Now I'm going to put my teacher classes on because this is really serious, like a final, and there's no late work. I need you to take yourself and 3 friends to the ballot box and make your voice heard. You have to vote. I'm going to repeat that again. You and 3 of your friends have to make your voices heard by voting. If you need more information, just go to iwillvote.com. And remember, no late work.
You know what, as the kids would say, she's giving E. Jean Carroll. Don't you think? Her face reminds me of E. Jean Carroll. Because you know how E. Jean Carroll is just crazy. She's got the crazy face.
She's eyes are always just like, yeah, they're crazy.
Gwen is crazy.
Well, and she's just like, there's appropriate times to be a teacher, and then there's all the other time. And she never, ever, ever takes off her ridiculous teacher face. She thinks it's endearing. Cringe.
I think she thinks it's endearing. And what I want to do is be like, I'm skipping school today, lady.
Exactly. No. Dave Urban was on CNN to talk about basically what a disastrous week Democrats have had. And we've got a lot more examples to show you. But here is his summary of their week.
It was a terrible week for the Harris this campaign. You had Gretchen Whitmer having to apologize to Catholics across America for mocking them with some bizarro Dorito thing on there. You had Governor Elmer Fudd out hunting not knowing how to load his shotgun, using the wrong gun. At the same time,
Governor Elmer Fudd?
Governor Walz was out there. It looked like Elmer Fudd. Be very, very quiet while hunting for rabbits.
Oh my God.
Right? So he can't load his shotgun. He's trying to appeal to hunters. He can't load the gun. He's using the wrong gun. At the same time, you have Barack Obama in Pennsylvania deriding, where he derided people who own guns. Remember, people in Pennsylvania were bitter and they clinged to guns and religion. Remember that in 2008? So they're trying to appeal to those folks at the same time while he alienates black male voters by chastising them. So they had a really tough week this week.
He did have. They've had a bad weekend.
They have had a bad week. Yeah.
Really bad. And JD Vance had something to say about Barack Obama chastising black men.
The question for Barack Obama or anybody to ask is not why black men. It's not how dare you not vote for Kamala Harris. It's maybe they're thinking about voting for Donald Trump because they're sick of being censored, they're sick of being told what to do, and they're sick of not being able to afford the American dream. Maybe that's why.
Yep.
Yeah, but black men aren't allowed to just think on their own. They have to vote based on color, according to King Barack Obama.
Yeah, they're sick of the condescension. They're seeing it.
The amount of videos that were all over social media this weekend from black men who were pissed off.
Right.
I mean, we could have had a whole show of just those videos. I've put together a few clips. We'll just string them all together because these guys are mad.
So they sent Obama to come get us and bring us back to the Democratic plantation. They sent Obama back to come get us. He insulted us. He said, I was highly offended when he said the only reason we voting for Donald Trump is because we don't want a woman in president, so we come up with, yo, nigga, shut up. Shut up. You don't speak for me.
Yep, they thought we was stupid. They thought we was ignorant. Black folks have woken up. We've turned our back on the Democratic Party. You can no longer use race and religion to sway us into voting for some bullshit. Let Donald Trump come on in there and fix this shit, because goddamn, I'm tired of the bullshit.
This message is for President Obama. First and foremost, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Number one, I ain't going to vote for Kamala Harris. I think that she's going to make a bad president. She's a bad vice president. Everything she does, she tries to politicize it, and she hasn't shown the fact that she wants to put America first ever. So I'm not voting for that individual. Secondly, I think that it's really sad that you would come out against black men and actually degrade them because they're not picking the person that you want them to vote for. All right. And the last thing that I'm going to say is the moment that I became a Republican and a conservative, that is when I got the most hate from the opposite party.
People want to act like Trump is the worst motherfucker in the world, but guess what? He was already president, and all this shit you talking about didn't happen. He didn't make himself a dictator, and this whole shit about he's going to make himself a dictator is really taken so out of context that it's ridiculous. Y'all trying to act like scare me into thinking that he's so bad that I should just vote for this broad just because. But guess what? I feel that she's so bad. She's the one that scares me. And this is my first time saying this out loud. But y'all motherfuckers think you're going to shame somebody or bully a nigga into voting for this bitch? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Kamala chose a white husband. Why can't black men choose a white president?
Oh, snap. Oh. And listen, these guys know that Obama didn't do squat for them in his third term. So he's probably not going to do anything for him in a fourth term. So why would they elect him?
By the way, I'm sorry that I neglected to give
Hide your
our
kids.
typical hide your kids, hide your wives disclaimer. I forgot about all the salty language.
Hide your dogs, hide everything.
And obviously, who do you think had something else to say about this but Scott Jennings?
It was a rough week. I mean, her faves are down. They're struggling with, the front page of the New York Times this morning, Democrats struggling with African-American voters, particularly African-American men. This gender gap issue is real. It's a real problem, and you see the Democrats reacting to it. And I think what they are now finally in October of the election coming to realize is that a A lot of men think Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be
Right.
well, and no hunting, cosplay, or cringy videos is going to change it. The bet is made. Working class men, whether you're black, Hispanic, or white, persistently, consistently do not believe the Democratic Party, and specifically Kamala Harris, are going to do a thing for them. They've been told that they're the problem, and I suspect they're going to rise up on Election Day and tell the elites who told them that you're wrong.
God, that is so right. It doesn't matter what color you are. And dudes don't like it when other dudes, Tim Walz in particular, put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
Bingo.
They're like, you know what? No, it doesn't matter how much melanin you have in your skin. They're all going to rise up and say, no, thank you. It's just ridiculous.
And black men also have daughters that they don't want sharing bathrooms and locker rooms
Damn straight.
with dudes.
Damn
like this
straight.
this is not a black or white issue. This is an issue that affects everybody. And I'm just
I love that they're like, it doesn't matter what race you are.
Mhm.
God, I'm so tired of these people using identity politics. And I'm so glad to see black men saying enough.
Right? It was, I mean, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. There
Yeah.
were so many videos like that. So many.
So great.
And even the very black man who is arguably the guy responsible for Joe Biden being president, Jim Clyburn, he is worried.
Donald Trump making his appeal to black men quite explicit. Your friend, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, who you campaigned with in Michigan, says that the message she's hearing from black men is, quote, Democrats take us for granted. Donald Trump talks to us directly. Are you concerned about black men voting for Trump or staying home?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Yes, I am concerned.
Yeah, you should be. You should be concerned because your messaging.
A little late.
Yeah, your messaging isn't working. Stop it. Stop.
Bill Maher also, which by the way, just side note, because there was no way that we could include this, but there is a monologue. It's a basically a message that he delivers to Chapel Roan, some singer who I don't know, who is anti-Israel. And it was the most beautiful, it was the best diatribe about Israel and Palestine. It was wonderful. It was 8.5 minutes long. Please go look for it after the show because it's worth watching. But here is a little bit of Bill Maher talking about Democrats not having a great week.
I gotta say, it's not looking that great for the Democrats. I mean, this is not a good sign. You know, when you have an African-American candidate, you probably shouldn't be having to shore up your support among black men, but that's what's going on. Tim Walz is headlining a voter engagement event tonight with black men. Who better to connect with young black men than Tim Walz?
So great.
Because apparently Michael Bublé was unavailable.
And then after that, he goes, did they not think of Kim Kardashian? That was my favorite. Should have used her. Yeah. And then there was a part where he actually talked about Obama scolding people. And the crowd went wild. Because they were like,
Wow.
oh, that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing that he's scolding people. No, jackholes.
Oh
it's
my
not a good thing
gosh.
because he has such a liberal audience. They think it's great that Obama was out there telling black dudes what to do. So liberals think that's great. Us on the other side, we're like, that's not good, you guys. He shouldn't be out there telling black men what to do. That's bad. Should never have to do that. Yeah.
That's known in history to be bad.
Right.
So maybe don't do that.
Maybe don't do that. Yeah.
Also, Nina Turner, who is a psychopath, who I cannot stand, who I think has blocked me on Twitter. She's awful. And I disagree with her on pretty much everything. But she was on one of the news shows to talk about Obama, condescending to black men. And she was right.
But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're pissing people off.
They're pissing people off.
Just
It's
don't do that.
not good, you guys. Not good.
Yeah.
And then they continue. There's, I don't even know who this woman is on MSNBC. She's this whole idea of like toxic men and men are in crisis and men like need so much help and therapy. It's absolutely insulting. And I mean, I think men are just sick and tired of it, particularly black men who are really fed up. But here's this woman who like thinks she knows everything about men and their crises.
For all men. You know, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country. I think that plays out different ways. And not all men are in crisis, of course. And not all men are just at home listening to Joe Rogan, being angry or being recruited to fascism. Some just need therapy, like we all do. I go to therapy. That's great.
That's a
but I
shocker.
think we need to have a real conversation about that rather than allowing this kind of drift toward this faux masculinity that we see Donald Trump evincing.
Faux masculinity. That's as opposed to the commercial that you guys put out last week.
Right.
With all those fake dudes like on fake ranches doing fake man things. Yeah. That's not faux masculinity at all. Who is this chick? I go to therapy, you guys. Everybody should go to therapy. Really? That's a shocker, Brenda, that you go to therapy. We're all shocked by that. Okay. Good Lord.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And Mica, I don't know if Morning Joe was like out sick when this conversation took place, but she's got her moment, right? Where she's talking. Normally she sits quietly next to him and pipes in every now and then when he allows it. But in this clip, he's not there to tell her to calm down.
So she's doing things. She's saying things.
Oh my God. She's so freaked out about Trump supporters and is just so upset that there are such things as Trump supporters.
Oh.
This was a diatribe that went on way longer than what you're about to see, but I've clipped it just so you get the good parts. She looks exhausted and frazzled and like just awful in a way that made me so happy.
You're delighted about it. I can tell. Maka's so delighted about this clip. She's like, she looks like shit.
Because her rage is it's
Right.
affecting her, you guys.
Yeah.
It's really affecting her. She's so mad.
I just don't understand anybody right now who could watch him talk and say, yeah, he definitely makes more sense than the alternative.
Oh my
Like all
God.
these people, I was watching the news yesterday, flipping around and hearing hosts whining, Kamala Harris needs to do more. Okay, more than everything she's doing? Fine, give me your ideas. But what? You know what he's doing? He's getting through the moment as an aging bullshit artist.
Oh,
okay?
she said that on
He's
the air?
just getting through the moment and insulting Detroit to its face. And you're right, Simone. There is racism in there.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a tinge of racism in everything he says.
Oh, he thought he was speaking to white people and they didn't live in Detroit.
People
So he
who-
thought he could
yeah,
trash.
you
That's
know.
my estimation.
Yeah, it's a
That he
developing
thought he could
nation.
trash. Oh yeah, let me trash Detroit because y'all must live
Let me
in the
tell you
suburbs.
something. There's
you
something
idiot.
wrong with people who can watch that and think the alternative, Kamala Harris, isn't more articulate, more prepared, more experienced, more able to, and when I say articulate, that means actually deliver a message to the American people on a certain
we know what
policy.
articulate means, Mica. We know.
You know she can.
Okay.
If you can't believe it and this is your choice, you're lying to yourself and you're going to ruin this country. It's going to be on you. It's going to be on you because
She's
there's
not
no
okay.
way you can watch that or any of his speeches and get anything out of it except for a hateful, racist, bigoted, tired, aging, branding, I wouldn't say genius, branding obsessed narcissist.
It's funny how she brings the aging thing in. Remember, she used to talk about my 90-year-old mother is like, that's not old.
Right.
Now, all
That's
of a
right.
sudden, now all of a sudden Trump is old. She never recovered from the facelift comment. Never.
No, she never did.
She never recovered, you guys. Like, she hates him because of that comment, and she'll never forget it. And it lives and breathes. Like, it's just like, it takes up space right here, and it just never has gone away. And every day,
so glorious.
She wakes up hating him every single
But
day.
do you see what I mean about how she looks? Like, she's not okay.
The anger, and it shows up on her face. Like, she's going to have to get another facelift because of the anger. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know if a surgeon can take care of that. Can they? I don't know.
That's rage that you can't wipe off.
You
with
can't
surgery.
surgically alter. It's so bad.
You can, however, make Kamala look okay enough to be on the cover of Vogue, because if you're Vogue magazine, you're going to put Kamala on the cover, right? I mean, that's Vogue.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And so they did. And here is the cover shot.
She looks uncomfortable.
She does. She looks very
constipated.
Stiff.
Looks constipated.
Yeah. And people were talking about, like, her hands look weird, and she looks so
her face
overly posed. Yeah, it's
very
odd. Vogue magazine posted it on their Instagram and said, only rarely are individuals summoned overnight for acts of national rescue.
Oh, that's what we're calling it, is summoned now? We're calling it summoned. Okay.
But in late July, Kamala Harris received one of those calls.
Okay.
With Joe Biden's decision to end his re-election campaign, the world looked to Harris with hopes and doubts. She was a leader of widespread support, but no special following.
Oh my God.
And now she was expected to do something unprecedented in American history, to mount and win a presidential race in 3 months as a woman of color, with a felonious former leader as the opposition and the future of democracy said to be at stake.
She's mounted some things, that's for sure. Oh my God, you guys. Like, this is the biggest crock of crap ever.
Oh my God. It's
she was
ridiculous.
Placed there. There was no summoning.
She was installed. That's the word they were looking for, is installed.
But it's nice wordsmithing done here.
Oh yeah. They've got it. They've got
a
it
good
down.
writer at Vogue that wordsmith really well.
She had her photo shoot done on October 7th, which I thought was of interest, given that was also the day that she was bitching at DeSantis for not taking her call during the hurricane.
Interesting. That's so interesting. Yeah. Was she calling when she was in makeup and hair? Unbelievable.
There was also a headline over the weekend on the Daily Mail. Apparently, she had a very poor performance review as a lawyer in San Francisco. And this was a 2002 performance review where people were saying she won't return calls. She's not really particularly competent. There was like a whole slew of hilarious things about Kamala in that performance review.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what does that say? I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing.
We should all be able to see that 2002 performance review. Like, can
you
we
can.
see it? We can see it?
It's online.
Okay.
You can
guys,
see the whole thing.
Like, everybody needs to like share that far and wide. Not that it'll do anything. Nobody really cares, right? Because I mean, what happens in federal government when you get poor performance, as evidenced by KJP? you get promoted. Yeah. You get more money. Woo! Yeah.
There was also another little video that Kamala made about Donald Trump's Detroit comment, because everybody's on the left is losing their mind about Donald Trump saying, if you don't want the whole country to look like Detroit, then vote for me. And I thought that was utterly appropriate.
Totally. I mean, there's that song that we're not Detroit. Right. It's like, because Detroit is gross. Yeah.
So she tries to act all butthurt about it, and like she's basically defending Detroit in this very staged video.
Come on.
Video that you're going to see right here.
South as well as.
Oh wait, sorry. Before that, one more clip from her Univision town hall that she did when she's talking about her border record. This is very quick. I just couldn't believe that these words came out of her face.
What was coming north? So I will put my record up against anyone in terms of the work I have always done and will always do to ensure we have a secure border.
She should put her performance review up against anybody's.
Her record on the border security, you guys. What is even happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
Anyway, here's the call, or here's the pretend thing that she does on video.
The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
Someone who spends full time attacking great American cities is unfit to be president of the United States. And look, when you watch the cities he attacks, you're talking about cities of middle-class, hardworking people. And by knowing what he does to attack those cities, you should know he's not looking out for you.
No, he wants to make them better, you hag. Are you going to live there? You going to go live in downtown Detroit? I double dog dare you, Kamala.
She did grow up in a middle-class family.
Really? I didn't know that. She's never said that.
I know, it's weird. It's super
really
weird.
Mm-hmm.
She also, over the weekend, released her medical records, which hilariously added a line about how she's a moderate drinker, which I just thought was so funny. But, you know, I mean, whatever. So she exercises and she's like mostly healthy, but she's using this as like this watershed moment of her campaign. Look at me. Look at how transparent I am. And she's complaining now that Trump lacks transparency for not releasing medical records at the precise moment that she did. Here she is on the tarmac saying exactly that.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for president of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency.
Oh my God.
That on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for president of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is.
Listen, you can't make this up. Okay, so like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, because of them going after him with lawfare, like all the stuff that they've done with him. It's like, we know about everything about this guy now, more than I ever wanted to know, right? I don't want, like, just enough with knowing about Trump, like enough. I know about his finances. I know about his sex life. I know about stuff I don't even want to know. We know everything. Lack of transparency is not a problem that we have when it comes to Trump. And he talks about everything.
God, it's such a joke that she says that.
It's insanity. Like,
and the medical records thing is such bullshit anyway, because, and what's her name? That Welker, Kristen Welker, she had Speaker Johnson on and asked him, like, shouldn't he release his medical records? Like, totally playing Kamala's game. And he completely like makes fun of her to her face.
People are going to vote on.
Just to be very clear, he hasn't released all of his medical records. He released 2 letters. Should he release the results of the cognitive test?
He's on display every minute.
So it's unnecessary. You can see that he didn't release his medical records. You don't want to know things like his cholesterol level, whether he's dealing with any issue that we may not know about, if he's going to be commander in chief. And he also said he would release cognitive tests.
Listen to your question.
Should he release that?
The American people, Kristen, the American people don't care about the cholesterol level of Donald Trump. They care about the cost of living and the fact they cannot pay for groceries because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's policies have put them in that situation. The medical records are irrelevant.
Was she clamoring to get Joe Biden's medical records out? You know, and he was suffering from obvious dementia.
She covered for him.
Oh my God.
So hard.
So hard. Like for years she covered for him. Where was the transparency there? They were supposed to be the most transparent administration in history. I call bullcrap. There's no transparent. These people are the ultimate gaslighters and projectors. It's ridiculous.
Well, and you know, now we're 20 some days away from the election. And so she's like in this like massive hurry, both her and Tim are, to get out there and visible as much as possible. They wasted so much time hiding. And now they recognize, oh shit, that was a bad move. And so they're scrambling. And JD Vance mentioned it at his rally.
You all probably have noticed, that Kamala Harris has been doing some more interviews lately. Have you noticed that? She went from doing like 0 interviews to doing 4 or 5. Now, the problem is that they're not tough interviews, right? She's going on The View, she's going to friendly outlets to do these interviews because, of course, she can't stand up to the scrutiny of a tough interview. So she's doing all these softball interviews instead. Now, my friends, the problem with a softball interview is that you still have to be able to hit a softball.
It's true. It's so true. I love him.
I know, right? Isn't he great?
Yeah, he is great.
So great. So she had a lot of bad, she just said a lot of dumb shit this weekend, you guys. She attended some church service, and I don't know, just help me decipher whatever this salad is.
What we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know.
What? If I went to that church, I would be like, I'm out of here. Why is she on the stage? I am not here to watch Kamala. I'm here to get a sermon. You know? Seriously.
But to see what cannot be seen.
I'm burdened.
With a vision of what we must know and not see.
By what not has been unburdened, burdening. She's just.
What is that?
God, I'd leave that church forever. What a joke.
And then there was this moment, I don't even know where she is, but she talks about what's at stake in this election.
When we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff.
Oh my God.
I say rather articulately.
Yes. She says rather articulately, like Mica promised us. That was super articulate, huh, Mica? Packed with some stuff.
You guys. She's a
it's
mess.
bad.
She is such a freaking mess.
If she wins, we are so screwed. Like, everybody better be prepping just in case.
Yeah, I hope everybody's prepping
because oh my gosh, we have to win this election because they are the two biggest morons on the planet. I
really
can't think of two bigger morons than these two. A hot mess.
And you know it's bad when they're relying so heavily on total rhinos, like to brag about how those rhinos are supporting them, whether it's Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney or whoever. And now Kamala's telling a lot of stories about John McCain. And so she invoked John McCain's name to tell a story about how John McCain told her that she would make a great senator. Here's the story.
As though it is a sign of weakness to have empathy. In the Senate, well, it was late into the night. And in the Senate, you walk onto the Senate floor, and there are these big wooden ornate doors. And those ornate doors opened. And John McCain came out. He's going after me. And I'm going back after him. I'm going back after him. And that was it. And this is what the public saw. And then I step onto the floor of the well of the Senate later that day. We had votes. And I passed by John McCain. And he looks at me and he says, "Kid, come over here. You're going to make a great senator." True story. True story. True story.
Is it a true story? I
don't know. Let's ask an expert on John McCain. Shall we?
Sure. She's blocked us, but let's ask her.
I'm not thrilled with this because I just find that maybe it did happen. To me, it doesn't sound like him. And I tweeted after I saw it that I'm really just, for me personally, on a personal level, Democrats really want to turn my dad into a progressive liberal that, like, 6 years after his death, he's now just the most liberal progressive that ever existed when he's one of the most conservative senators in American modern history. And we were obviously incredibly close, and I worked with him both professionally and, we were very close personally. And it's hard. I don't like it. And I remember what he actually said about Vice President Harris in private. I actually was like remembering a specific dinner party was something he said, which I don't want to be disrespectful or uncouth and share it right here. But like, it just sounds like not real to me.
I mean, I'd go with what she says on. I'm not a big fan of her, but I'd go with what she says on that.
I'm not a big fan of any of them.
Any of them.
Any of the
McCain
story.
any of them. You're right. Anybody that we just talked about, I'm not a fan of. Right.
Just not a fan.
I think they all just lie. Anyway, but no, I trust her on that one though, because he probably did say really terrible things about her.
Yeah.
But he may have said to her face, you're going to make a great senator. I don't know. Because they're all politicians at the end of the day.
It's all this. It's
all that. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala also had a rally yesterday, and she is once again trying to claim that Donald Trump is weak and scared, you guys. Weak and scared.
Here's the thing. It makes you wonder. Why does his staff want him to hide away?
Oh my God. Why do they keep saying this?
He's out there.
One must question. Are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable?
Oh my God.
To lead America? Is that what's going on?
It's nuts. What an unhinged biatch she is.
Right?
Has she been shot in the head? Seriously. Is she gonna go on Rogan? Because I'd like to see her go on Joe Rogan's show. I really like to see that. And then see her get grilled.
God, that would be glorious.
Wouldn't it be glorious? Yeah. No earpiece, no script. Go on Rogan, lady, and we'll see how well you 3 full hours in a seat, and let's see how well you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of being afraid, it just so happens that Time has not been granted an interview with Kamala Harris, unlike every other presidential candidate. So somebody from Time said, we believe in transparency and publish each interview in full. Why isn't the vice president engaging with the public on the same level?
Oh my
and
God.
they wrote a whole piece about it. Frank Luntz quoted it saying, Harris declined repeated requests for an interview for this story. In contrast, Trump talked about his policy vision with a Time reporter for 90 minutes. 2 interviews.
Right. This is the thing. And then she has the audacity to get on a stage and be like, he's weak.
I mean,
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. The gaslighting I've never seen it at this level as I have with Democrats at this point. Yeah, it is wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who believe it. That's what's so disturbing. There are people in the audience going, he's scared.
He's out there literally 24/7. I don't know how much more visible and public he could be.
Right. And that's after 2 assassination attempts. The guy
maybe. We don't know.
I mean, this is the thing, but he just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, it's crazy.
And now word on the street is that Biden and her are like really, it's tense. Okay, things are very tense.
God, I want him to just say the things. Just get into a full-blown dementia, like panic,
rage,
and just go. Like I want to see him unleash. I want him to just go.
It would be awesome. So there was a cabinet meeting where she was due to speak at a certain point of it, and he was talking, and freaking Jennifer Granholm, who's sitting next to him, goes to like touch him on the arm to remind him that it's Kamala's turn, and he blows her off. And then later you can hear Kamala try to interrupt him, and he's like, just wait a second, before he finally turns it over to her. So here is that moment.
The fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where well, we're going to have to, I know I'm going to go to the vice president in a second.
Oh my God.
She's my boss here.
That's a true piece.
I mean,
we're going to be, hang on a second, man. Sure. We're going to be going to the Congress. We're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot more money. As we identify specifically how much is needed. So I'm just telling everybody now. I don't want to hear that this is going to be the end of it. So with that, I'll yield to the vice president.
Oh my God. He needs to just go full scorched earth Elmo on these people. Right. Go out. Oh, I just want him to say the things. He's this close, you guys. This close. He hates her. He absolutely hates her. Even Trump said that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
He said
it's not
that
coming from nowhere. I mean, that is a thing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm pretty certain that he hates her. Oh, we know he hates her.
Okay, super excited because we're going to have time now to talk about Elon and just the amazing week that he has had. Just is incredible on so many levels. So first of all, and we'll get to the rocket. I know if you haven't seen video of the rocket landing this week,
you got to go look it up.
Everything that he does is freaking mind blowing.
Right.
So first of all, he introduced the Optimus robot, which is terrifying, I will say. But he's very proud of it and should be. And I trust him more than any other robot making company to create a robot that is not going to kill us. You know what I mean? So here he is talking about it. This is at a Vegas expo where people actually got to walk around and interact with the robots. And we've got some of that as well. But first of all, here's Elon's intro.
Robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with the Optimus. And as you can see, we started with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you can have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. The Optimus robots will walk among you.
Oh my God.
Please be nice to the Optimus robots.
Are they saying no?
So you'll be able to walk right up to them, and they'll serve drinks at the bar.
Thank you.
They serve drinks at the bar.
I'll have you watermelon.
Watermelon?
Yeah.
Coming right up.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
All right, man. Who's buying shares tomorrow?
That is nuts, you guys. Absolutely nuts. I'm not going to lie, though. If one can clean my house.
Right?
I mean, I hate robots.
Looks like I got a little on my thumb.
That's okay.
Oh my God. Oh my
So there was that. And then you could have like a conversation with them. Now it is a little concerning what this robot says, but listen.
Hardest thing about being a robot? Trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are. And that's something I try harder to do every day, and I hope that you will help us become that way. Well, awesome. Nice to meet you, Optimus. You as well.
You can think.
The voice is crazy.
It's crazy because it's so not robotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, there was that. There was this like crazy, super futuristic van that he came out with. And then this robo taxi, which listen to him describe this. This is also mind blowing.
Think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile.
Wow.
And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one. Yes, exactly. We expect the cost to be below $30,000.
Oh my God. And there's no driver to attack you.
No, there's no driver to attack you. And for people that maybe don't want to spend the money to get their own, or who can't, there are other people who will buy them in fleets, and that will be the new Uber. You'll have your own fleet of robo-taxis that you can send out. Like, this is a business thing for,
yeah,
it's a business thing for people.
A business venture. Okay, that I think is kind of cool.
I mean, everything that he like, I don't know how he sleeps, because the things that he's constantly thinking about and engineering and inventing, planning, it's incredible what this man is capable of.
And don't forget the people who bring his stuff to life, because he's the idea guy, right? I mean, there's a whole band of merry engineers working at Tesla and his companies that bring all this stuff that work their butts off to bring all this is the private sector, y'all. This is the private sector at its best. And this is why America Free Enterprise is awesome. And I love to see it. Listen, the robots, I kind of want to burn them with fire. But this is innovation. This is American innovation. And it makes me beam with pride when I see stuff like this, because I'm like, okay, at least it still exists, because there's been a time where we're like, okay, not a lot of stuff are we progressing? You know what I mean? Are we doing stuff like this because I just feel like people aren't doing it. But then when I see him, I go, okay, we're doing stuff. We're still doing stuff. And that's cool that we're inventing stuff, doing stuff, we're progressing from
And the most incredible thing was yesterday when his rocket came back to Earth and freaking parallel parked.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Like, it's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. And the fact that it wasn't covered by mainstream media, like, at all, was so infuriating, because this is the kind of stuff that you have to see on Twitter, what amazing inventions he's creating. Like, this is extraordinary. If you missed video of this rocket coming back to its launching pad, and by the way, being ostensibly ready to fire off again within a couple hours, it's a feat beyond my imagination. In fact, when the first video that I saw on Twitter, I thought what I was watching was a rocket in reverse, that someone had just done this video backwards to make it look like it had landed. And in fact, it was taking off. No, this is a landing. You're going to see it from several different angles.
Holy fuck. Holy shit. Holy shit. Come on, baby.
And this was the first time, Miriam.
Yeah. Oh, I have got video about that too.
Yeah, this is the first try, you guys.
No freaking way.
I mean,
freaking way.
Wow.
No freaking way.
That's nuts. It's just nuts. That's real.
Wow.
Landing burn has been ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in view.
Mica had popped the booster.
This is absolutely insane. On the first ever attempt, we have successfully caught the super.
And
look
listen,
at that. It's
I
like
know.
interstellar level amazing to me.
It is. It's totally amazing. And there are people who are like, no, I don't like this. We're going to lose jobs. I mean, like, people in our comments are like, somebody said you're being mesmerized by this. Yeah, I'm mesmerized.
How are you not?
It's completely amazing. Like, this is it's awesome. Like, there are human beings that are creating this. I have a daughter who wants to be an engineer. She's 14 years old. She wants to be an engineer. She sees this, and this is her eye candy. You know what I mean? Like, she thinks this is amazing. And I love that she thinks this is amazing, because I want her to do stuff like this. I think this is great. I can't do this. I don't have a brain that can create stuff like this. I love that she has a brain that can, like, even think about doing stuff like this. I think it's great for kids to see this and say, I want to do stuff like that, because we need innovators in our world. We need people who want to create and innovate. And I feel like, that's America, right? That's
Oh
what
my
you
God.
want.
I don't know how anybody can't be mesmerized over that.
Right.
I just don't understand it. It makes no sense. And amazing, we've got a couple clips of Elon talking about planning for this a couple of years ago. So there's one clip from May of 2022 where he's almost making fun of how ridiculous of an idea it actually is.
It's a custom-built tower with arms that are designed to catch the largest and heaviest flying object ever made and pluck it out of the air. I mean, that's the theory anyway. So
Elon just said, delete the legs, delete. We're like, well, what is he like? You just use the arms.
It's remarkable.
And then said it again. I mean, they go, wow, he's serious. Okay, we better get on this. And now it seems normal. Or
it'll weigh about 250 tons. We'll make that lighter over time. So you got cool it a couple hundred tons, plummeting at more than half the speed of sound.
Oh my
so this thing is
God.
still coming in really fast.
Yeah.
Pretty much down in a downward direction. So then the light the engines, so it's got to slow itself down very fast and correct any error. So like whatever the XY error is when the engines land, it's got to take out that XY error and then drop the velocity to basically zero. Come in between the arms. The arms will be wide, and as it's coming in, the arms will close, go flush against the side of the vehicle, and the vehicle will be descending through the arms. And those tiny little, you can barely see them, the little knobs, those kind of lifting lugs will touch the top of the arms, and then it will hopefully not shear off and crumple. Success is one of the possible outcomes. The probability is uncertain, but it is above zero.
It's crazy. I know, right? You guys, I live like 12, 15 miles from SpaceX here. I think 15 miles from SpaceX here in Texas. And we hear like our windows will shake. We hear like tests all the time here. They test rockets all the time at the most ungodly hours. They test and test and test. I mean, that's what they're constantly doing. It's like, it is, that he comes up with these ideas. They do. I mean, he's like, it's crazy. This is crazy. And then there are people, which is so fantastic, because then there are all these people who are like geeking out over it. And they're like, we're going to make this crazy idea happen. And they do it. And it's awesome. That's just so great, right? It's so great. And that's private sector. I mean,
here he is in December of 2021 talking to Lex Friedman about this experiment, essentially, and the chances of it being successful, the way that he describes the chances of its success are just like, this was never supposed to happen, you guys.
Landing legs on the booster and ship, we are going to catch them with a tower to save the weight of the landing legs. So that's like, I mean, we're talking about catching the largest flying object ever made on a giant tower with chopstick arms. It's like a Karate Kid with the fly, but much bigger.
I mean, pulling something like
probably won't work the first time.
And it did.
Anyway, so this is bananas. This is banana
Yeah, it's banana stuff, you guys.
It is bananas.
And
he did
meanwhile,
it.
NASA is bragging that for the first time, we have raised the intersex progress pride flag at a NASA center.
Like, right. I mean, what? If you're an engineer and you're wanting to do this stuff, where do you want to work? You want to work at SpaceX. You want to work, right. You're like, really? I have a like NASA.
Oh my gosh. And then because California is run by radical progressive psychopaths like Gavin Newsom, he is now being prevented from launching anything from coastal California because of his politics. So he's suing today.
Good.
He's suing California because they literally openly say they cite his politics for part of the reason that they rejected his SpaceX launches.
Unbelievable.
He needs to sue.
And he's also been undercut on like grants on money and stuff like that. I mean, like because they're so, listen, the federal government's in bed with like Boeing and all those people. And look how great they're doing.
Yep.
It's unreal.
Couple more Elon clips, just because for those people who may think that the moon landing was fake. which I don't. Just
I know.
stop it.
I know.
He has a message for you.
We definitely went to the moon. I swear. Yes, we went to the moon. We went to the moon several times. I know in depth the technical designs of the rockets, the spacecraft, everything.
Yes.
What went right, what went wrong. It was a remarkable piece of technology, like incredible piece of technology to go to the moon in '69. That was like reaching into the future and pulling the future forward dramatically. And it was an important ideological battle with communism because they couldn't put a person on the moon and capitalism could. So
I love that.
Love it.
Great. Mm-hmm.
This one is hilarious. This is, I don't know what actually happened when Elon Musk went on SNL or if he ever went on SNL. I'm unaware of that appearance, but now I definitely want to go back and watch it because he was on a show where he's talking about how he wanted to figure out if SNL was truly, truly live. Hide your kids, hide your wives.
So one of the things that I think everyone's been sort of wondering this whole time is Saturday Night Live actually live? Like live, or do they have like a delay or like just in case, there's a wardrobe malfunction or something like that? Is it like a,
truly live
5-second delay? What's really going on? But there's a way to test this.
Right. We came up with a way.
There's a way to test this. Which is, we don't tell them what's going on. As I walk on and says, this is the script. I'll throw it on the ground. We're going to find out tonight, right now,
if Saturday
Night Live is actually live. And the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to take my cock out.
This is the greatest pitch ever.
And if you see my cock, you know it's true. And if you don't, it's been a lie.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That is so great.
Isn't it the greatest thing ever?
Oh God. He just went like, that is awesome.
And then even way back in the day, like way back in the day.
He was young in this clip. So young.
So young, but so smart. Way back in the day.
By the way, has no money. It only takes money from people. Sometimes people forget that's really what occurs.
The government, he said, the government has no money.
They
It
don't.
only takes money from the people. So that was kind of foreshadowing,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Elon is a freaking genius and I love him and everybody should. And by the way, in the midst of the robots and the vans and the robo-taxis and the freaking the rocket parallel parking, he also has been very busy saving free speech. So, I mean, like, round of applause for
Yeah,
Elon.
I mean, you can't hate. How can you hate the guy?
I don't know. I mean,
there may be some stuff here and there. You're like, I don't agree with that, or I don't agree with that, but you can't hate the guy.
You can't. You absolutely can't. All right,
That's
it's
a great American story right there. So it's time for DD.
Yes.
Just a Monday pep talk for you guys. Everybody needs a pep talk on Mondays, and I thought this is a good pep talk.
Okay.
Everyone's older than me. Everyone's
You don't have to tackle.
Bob, listen to me. No, Bob, listen to me. Trust me. Look at me. Look at me, Bob. I'm the shortest kid here. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're short, you're young. It doesn't matter if you're tall or hit. It doesn't matter if you're fat. It doesn't matter if you're tall. Bob, you are a brilliant rugby player. You understand that? You're insane. You're actually insane for your age. You're insane. Come on, give me a hug.
Best teammate
It's
ever.
all right?
Best
You're
teammate.
really good.
Come on.
Come on. So come on. No one.
That's the cutest thing ever.
Aren't they? Everybody needs a friend like that.
Oh,
there's your
cute.
pep talk. It doesn't matter. Just go out there and kick butt today, you guys.
Also, I think I've shown this before, but then it came across my feed and I was like, how do I not show it again for my Pillow Toks? How do I not show
You know what's so
this?
funny is Gwenny showed this to me yesterday and she was like, Mom, this is me with cheese. It's so funny that you're showing this today.
Too.
Yeah,
It's me
she
too.
loves cheese.
Ready? And cheese.
That is totally my daughter and cheese, you guys. She loves it. It's so true.
The greatest. Also, if you have a dog, because Tessie LaRue was like this. She had the wiggliest butt.
She did. She had RBF and a wiggly butt. That's how you knew she loved you. Mm-hmm.
So if you have a wiggly butt dog, I highly recommend putting a belly dancing scarf on them.
Yes. And then the music behind it really makes it. That's great. God, I missed an opportunity. I really did.
And then this one was hilarious. So this family put a GoPro on top of their Alaskan Husky, thinking that they would get like amazing adventures on film. Like, what does the dog do when they go outside? This is what they do.
The dog's like, I really want to come inside now. I really just want to come inside. Why is this thing on my head? Why?
And then
pandas.
Lastly, we have a really, really great job. But if I ever need a backup job, this is it.
This is it.
This right here. Just like moving pandas around.
Right. Just like shuttle. It's like shuffleboarding pandas. That's what it is. That's what. But I mean, I think you'd have to do this in China though, which means you would have to go to China.
Okay, well that's a deal breaker.
I mean, China sucks. You don't want to go there. But if there's some way you could shuffleboard pandas here in the States, that would be awesome. What do you do for a living? I shuffleboard pandas. I'm a panda shuffleboarder.
Best job ever.
Oh my gosh. Look how sweet.
Look at how they just go where
they're
you
so tired. They're just so sleepy.
Oh my God. I just love them so much.
I know. They're so fat and sleepy. I love them.
Oh, so precious. Anyway, we've got some more thank yous. Trish S1968 said regarding Whitmer at MSU, my son is in his third year of law school at Michigan State. I'm on a parent page and the things those liberal moms are saying, and I quote, get your student to register in East Lansing. They can keep their voter registration active at home in other states to vote for local issues. I called out, so you're saying your kids can vote twice? Isn't that kind of illegal?
Yeah.
My God.
I swear.
Infuriating. Jessica Rangel says, I'm 44 years young today. Had to start my day with you chicks and a shout out.
Happy birthday.
Curio23 says, referring to the 2020 election fraud, take my money. That must be from his last thing that he said. Jody Patterson says, thank you for the Go Ahead and Trump song today. Going to be in my head all day. Love it. Take my money. It is so good.
Go ahead
and it's
and
long.
Trump. Yeah.
They've got like the verses they've got the whole song. So it's absolutely fantastic. Tiffany Compiano says, vote early and in person. Love my chicks. Thank you. Stevie J says, as a truck driver, I can tell you Detroit is a no-go zone for me. See?
Yeah.
See? Muff Waggle B says, it's like iRobot and Total Recall is now a reality.
It's true. I'm not a fan of the robot people, but everything else, pretty cool.
Colleen K says, please encourage Gwen to be an engineer. There is a severe shortage of engineers in our country, especially female ones. I don't think she needs convincing.
No, she's been wanting to do that since she was little. Yeah.
Yep. All right. We made it. There's a lot of stuff I didn't show because we just didn't have time. But
no, because I have to get on the road and go pick up a kid. My husband's in jury duty today, you guys. And so I'm like single mom in it. And we have so much stuff going on. So I have to get on the road. Otherwise, it would have been like a 2.5 hour show. It's my fault. Sorry.
So long.
Yeah. Tomorrow would probably be a 2.5 hour show.
I don't know, man. It was a long weekend and just a lot of stuff happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
But I was like, how do I leave this out? I can't do it.
A lot of stuff going on. So you guys have a great Monday and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.